People, what up, you crazy kids? Another Thursday edition of the Havana Lounge podcast. I am your man, your host, the man of the hour, Mellow Man Ace. They call me Meezy. You can call me Willie Malo, or you can call me El Padrino. Of course, for my passion of many years of fine cigars. Guys, if you remember on my first album, Escape from Havana, I had the cigars right here, people. Right here, people. And yeah, but it's been a lifelong thing with me, at least my adult life. I love cigars. But guys, welcome to the Havana Lounge podcast. We're chilling. We got the window open today. You might hear a siren, a cop, a crackhead, who knows? Some gunshots might pop the fuck off. Whatever it is, we don't care. We're chilling. We got a loaded gun for you tonight, folks. Speaking of guns, the Sinseers' own Joey Quinones is here. I'd like to thank my sponsors, AV Chevy and Daily Ads, for believing in the show. If you need a Chevy, Silverado, Corvette, or Tahoe, go see my man Justin over at AV Chevy. On the other side of that, if you need the fly billboard for your album, the bus bench ads, please see my people Damon Lee over at Daily Ads, and he will definitely take care of you. You can find them both on IG. Guys, I'm fired up, wired up. I'm not sure if it's that good sleep that I got last night or that half a can of Rockstar I keep under the table. Whatever the case, I feel electric and we're going to get it. My family hates when I drink the Rockstars, but sometimes you need it. Guys, welcome to the Havana Lounge podcast. I like to start this segment of the show, sponsored by the AV Chevy, with my cigar review. This right here, people. Man, this right here, people, the Rocky Padel Special Sun-Dried Maduro. And I took it for a spin earlier. And you know what? I'm coming to realize that Rocky Patel can't make a bad cigar. So, I mean, the way it's just cushy, like a pound cake almost, right? Before you even light it up, the aroma is splendid. The leaves burned amazingly. It behaves well, doesn't fall apart, doesn't crumble. Rocky Patel, people, it's a $15 chucker, and I suggest you go pick it up. Again, it's a special reserve sun-grown Maduro, and I really dug it. And it will get an ace of hearts today on the show. That's my word, cousin. The next thing we're doing is my wine of the day, people. This one comes to us from Napa Valley, and it's your man's Charles Woodson, cornerback of the then, was it the Los Angeles Raiders at that time? Or was it the Oakland Raiders at that time? Either way, you know Charles Woodson, he was the DB, started out in Michigan in college. I went and saw him at the Rose Bowl, and then he went to the Packers, I believe, and then spent a lot of time with the Raiders. Either way, his 24 interception wine is what we are doing tonight. And I got this one while I was out in Napa Valley with my guys out there sampling some stuff. And this is the Cabernet Sauvignon of 2007. And I've already opened it up, as you can see. And I got to tell you, the legs are crazy nice. So let me go in. Fire. I can tell it's going to knock me back, you know what I mean? I think this is the kind of wine so potent. From 2007, you want to just have half a glass. I don't think you want to do two, people. It's fire. However, a little sweet. It is a little sweet. Slight aftertaste. I don't know. Maybe you like that. I don't. But we're going to keep on driving it home tonight. So I'm going to give the Charles Woodson Interception wine. I'm gonna give him an ace card. I'm not sure which one. Maybe the ace of. We're gonna give him the ace of hearts. We're gonna give him an ace of hearts for that. Well put together, well packaged. As you can see, this is a nice bottle, guys. I'm excited about tonight's show. Before I cut to a commercial break, to let you go get your wine and your cigar or your blizzy, I gotta tell you, people, once again, get at me. You know what it is, ladies. We got your Havana Lounge podcast shirts ready to go, people. So ladies, get at me. The information on the Cash App is right there on your screen. Shoot me 25, 35, let's call it 35 bucks. And we'll get it out to you. Fellas, we got you covered too. You know what it is? The logo, the banner, the badge, people. It's the badge. Yes, indeed. So, fellas, shoot me 35 on the Cash App, and it's yours. This one here is for my man, Joey Quinones. And that's how that goes. Guys, I'm excited about tonight, man. I'm fired up, as you can see. Wired up. No doubt. Let's talk a little bit of sports. Was able to play golf yesterday and hung out with Beto Duran of Fox Sports News. Alicia Del Valle was there, trying to gather some intel as to how she can fix her swing and all that. Shout out to my man Brazo for calling the tee time. I had a good time. For that particular course, I set a new course record for myself. I shot a 76. I shot a 76 and it felt good. Wasn't really slapping it all over the place. And if I did, I troubleshoot it amazingly well over at Al Manzar Golf Course in the city of Alhambra. I don't know if you've been keeping up with golf, but this guy, Patrick Cantlay, can't seem to lose. I think in the last 2 weeks, the last two tournaments, he's taken home in excess of over $20 million, people. I'm definitely doing the wrong thing in my life. Definitely doing the wrong thing, people. Yes, indeed. And did football start this Sunday? No. Or was that still, was that preseason?
I believe so.
Okay, I think I was watching the Kansas City Chiefs play against somebody in passing. I watched a play or two and didn't really get to see what was going on. But I think the NFL kicks off next week, if I'm not mistaken. All you Raider fans, do what you do. You know what I mean? Go Rams. That's what I'm talking about. Whoever your team is, Dallas Cowboys.
Week 1 starts on Thursday.
Week 1 starts on Thursday. Great, thank you, Mark. So we already know what it is. Hopefully you take the game and you watch us instead, then you go back and watch the game. I'm a piece of work. True indeed. Hey, moving on, man. If you're into baseball, you already know what it is. The Dodgers and Giants in a seesaw battle there for first place in the West of the National League. And I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Like I said early on in the year, the Dodger fans, we don't trip until after the All-Star break. Then we make that dash to first place. And even if we don't get it, we're not really playing for the National League banner. We want the full get down. We want the full trophy, right? So that's what it is. San Diego Padres is still struggling in the West. I don't know how y'all have such an amazing team, but you managed to fall apart there. And we're just going to keep it moving on that note. Guys, I'm your boy Mellow Man Ace. Welcome to the Havana Lounge Podcast. I'll be right back in 2 and 2. Peace. And welcome back, people. What's up, you crazy kids? The Havana Lounge podcast is live and direct, and sitting next to me is the man of the hour, the one and only, the ever so talented Joey Quinones is in the building. Thank you, sir, for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me.
Get down, brother. Get down, man. So let's go case by case, if you will, on these people. Joey, you're originally from San Bernardino. San Bernardino, yes?
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
Tell us how was your upbringing, and I'm asking this because you're such a well-rounded artist that I want to get a feel for how you obtain all this talent. You know what I mean?
I think, being born out in like San Bernardino, Fontana really is where my kind of parents kind of settled down a little bit, got a house and stuff. There wasn't really a lot of music going around, live music at all, really. To be honest with you, it was just more go to school, have your friends, your little block, your friends around the block, and that was it,
Yeah.
But I think once my parents split up, my mom went to L.A. and took us with her, and it was just like a explosion of sounds and just different, completely different vibe from Fontana.
What year are we talking about?
I'm talking. It's probably like 99, 98.
Okay.
Coming out here and then getting into middle school and high school, and I remember like one of the first things when we moved to LA, it was the East L.A. Classic, which was my high school and our rival high school, which was Roosevelt High School, Garfield and Roosevelt High School.
Oh yeah,
the East L.A. Classic, So
you grew up in Boyle Heights, maybe?
More of like right in East LA, like
okay.
Like right down the street from Garfield High School, actually.
Get down.
Right on Fraser, same street as high school. But I remember she took us to one of the classic games, and she's like, look out, that's like the best band in East LA right there. And I remember that stuck out to me, and it was the marching band, it was like this great big orchestra, and I said, wow, that's what I want to do, And so I got into that. Of course, skateboarding was big at the time. Punk rock music was just aligned with that. So,
yeah.
I picked up a guitar. I started doing what any kid my age was doing at the time, which is buying a big amp and stacking them and trying to play punk rock music. That's pretty much how I got into it. Oh yeah, that was the first of it. But but little did I know, like growing up, going to my dad's car shows because he's been in the car club since '71. So we'd go to his car on the weekends. We'd go with him, and he'd always have car shows. So these boring car shows as a kid, But
yeah.
But I remember the music sounding good,
Yeah.
It was familiar. That's why, like later on, you're like, oh, I remember this song. It's Brentwood, playing, or it's Temptations or something like that. It's like it all was kind of full circle. But what got me into music was the punk rock, And it's weird because a lot of those musicians were still listening to the same thing. They're listening to like all the older musicians and all the rock and roll and R&B stuff from 50s, 60s, 70s.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. So, how many instruments do you play, bro?
Play a lot of. I don't think there's a number to it, but because I'm always learning. I'm always fascinated with learning anything from I look at the audience as an instrument sometimes. It's like like being able to play, being able to maintain a crowd, and kind of just involve them and have them participate, and kind of add to the show. Like right now, I think that's like an instrument to me. At least that's what I look at it as. That's what I approach it as. And I've always been in a position to have to fill in for people who left the band, or who didn't show up, or for whatever reason. So I was always like the guy to fill in the spot, until eventually the spot was a singer, and I had to fill in the spot, and I had to fill that hole. And once I got to that point, I just kind of took it seriously and started writing my own songs and incorporating all the things that I liked listening to and reading when I listen to music and stuff like that.
Sure. Interesting. So, you don't know exactly how many instruments you can play.
I know I can play drums.
Let's go through it.
Yeah, drums, bass, guitar, piano, keyboards, trumpet, saxophone, flute, vibraphone, and singing, of course, and a little bit of harmonica.
Amazing. I posted up a picture of you that we took at the Hitting Switches concert.
Mm-hmm.
And in the heading I put, one of the most talented guys and cats that I've met in recent years. And I meant that, seriously.
Appreciate that.
I think the last time I saw somebody so gifted, his name was Prince, and with the vocals, being able to play the piano, set the tempo with the drums, as well as keyboards. But not only that, the way you work in the studio as well. You can run the board, you can run the show, you run the mixes, and you do all these things. What prepped you for that?
I think, you know what, I've always just been in like, I've heard about like, you know, like for me, what got me into engineering was obviously writing and doing stuff like that. I used to record on a little 4-track cassette, you know, bounce down. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but for some reason I knew how to ping pong tracks, you know. Like I knew I wanted to hear my guitar and vocal, and then I wanted to send it here, and then I wanted to use that again, and just kind of go back and forth. So I had a full, you know. And I used to do that a lot when I was a kid. Looking back, I used to do that a lot as a kid, but I didn't really understand what I was doing at the time. I don't think, but you know, I think as I got older and getting into, because I'm really my favorite type of music to listen to, and what got me really like invested in it as a musician was reggae, like early reggae music,
okay,
late '60s, early '70s.
Sure.
And you know, like Lee Perry, rest in peace, just recently passed away, was a big influence in that. And he used to like, you know, use all these sorts of tape delays in a way that, you know, was never really being heard at the time, you know. And that always interested me to see, like, you know, like this mad scientist guy in the studio and the mixing board, like flipping faders with real spinning behind him. And it's like, what's going on here? Like, why does it sound so? Why does it look and sound so exciting? You know? So
yeah.
I think that's what kind of got me into it. And you know, in our that genre, we always wanted to. That's the thing. He's like, oh, if we could just record to tape, you know, because it was just kind of a feeling. You always hear about the sound. Oh yeah, bands don't sound the same because they recorded tape, or you know, they're not live. Or so I think we always were like, okay, we're going to record live. In any band I was in, we're going to record live or we're going to record a tape. You know, we would always record live, but every time we get to the studio, like the guy who was saying he had a tape machine, just had it in the corner, you know, like just covered up, and covered in dust. So it was like kind of like a letdown. So I think I just started getting into it and kind of reading about it and looking into it and experimenting my own and just getting my own kind of setup going until I had like a full, which I have now is like a full analog kind of setup. And that's just stuff, honestly, just trial and error. I didn't get to go to school for it, or I didn't get self-taught stuff, you know, just like a lot of blown up speakers for sure. You know?
Sure.
So stuff like that, but you know, along the way, I've been able to, you know, be able to go in the studios with a lot of great engineers, you know, like that are stay true to the analog sound, and you know, like Gabriel Roth from Daptone Penrose people, you know, and then just people like that just kind of like open your eyes and kind of make it a little bit more understandable, a little easier to look at, and not so intimidating.
Sure. I remember one of my earliest studio sessions while I was at Capitol. We would be at Larrabee, or sometimes down at Hollywood Sound or whatever. And the engineer broke it down to me. When you see the big 48 channel console, it could be really menacing at first, mm-hmm. right? And he goes, no. All you have to do is learn one row of what this does, and then all of these do the exact same thing, yeah. But it's for each channel or each track or mm-hmm. each instrument. I was like, oh, okay, great, that's dope. And I was learning early on as well. But to me, one of the things that I really love about what you do, man, is the way you present your package, right? For instance, when you did the video for What's His Name, mm-hmm. right? Is that the name of the song?
Yeah.
You guys are in a rehearsal studio, mm-hmm. looks like, and you never really play the camera face on. Mm-hmm. You know, it captures you in an essence from the sides, maybe from just off, and it reminds me of yesteryear, guys like, you know, Curtis Mayfield, maybe Sam Cooke and these guys, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Do you do that on purpose?
I think, you know, that one, the reason why that all kind of came about, even that song and that video, you know, I had like an appearance to do on a friend's, like, you know, it's a YouTube channel, I guess it was like a Patreon kind of a thing, and he had been featuring bands for a while, a lot of artists, a lot of local artists and stuff, and he was an engineer, and he would be filming and stuff like that. So all the filming and stuff is totally on him for sure. And he kind of just saw, that was his kind of vision and what he saw. But that room has kind of been the same for the past couple of years. I think they just had different bands come in. But the interesting thing about that is that, like, I was supposed to show up by myself, and you know, before the Sinseers were even a band, before I added a Y to my name, before it was just Joe.
Okay.
You know, so I was just showing up to sing some songs in front of a camera for a friend. You know.
Yeah.
And we were going to help each other out, get exposed a little bit, and he was going to have some content. You know. And, you know, I just completely chickened out, and I just started calling everybody, like all my number one guys that I could rely on to come in and kill it, you know, musician-wise. So, like, again, I called my drummer. He was unavailable, so I could call another guy to call another drummer. He came in. And it just assembled, like, this band, the band that you saw on the video, which is, you know, all musicians that we've played with for, you know, we've toured with and we've played with for the past, you know, for 5-6 years or whatever. And so, like, everyone was familiar with each other, and, you know, some of them knew the song, some of them didn't, and, you know, so we kind of just practiced it a little bit and just went.
Yeah.
And I remember it being so hot in there, so we were just, like, you know, just, like, trying to get out of there. And we got it in, like, a couple takes, and we did the filming of it, and that was it. You know, we forgot about it. We just went home, didn't think anything about it, until the guy asked me what he wanted to call it. He's like, what do you want to call this thing? I put, just name it the Sinseers, you know, whatever. And what's the name of the song? He's like, what's his name? Okay, we put it up. And, you know, I think we went on tour for another, like, 2 months or something like that. Came back, and we got back, and like, that video was being circled around, and, you know, it's just like being, like, I was being tagged in all these things, and people were, like, you know, tagging and all this stuff. And it was just like, oh, I guess it's like,
went viral.
It went viral, you know, like, because we weren't even intending on doing anything like that. So it was kind of funny for us. But so I had to call everybody, like, hey, you guys want to play a show? You know, people want us to play the show, and it's just start building from there.
Sure. Guys, if you guys don't know, that going viral today is like the same as, you know, back in the day when you had the hit record on the radio and whatnot, and you were all over the box or whatever it was that you saw your videos at. And we're happy to have Joey Quinones here, one of the most talented cats I've met in recent years. Guys, you're tuned into the Havana Lounge podcast. This is Joey Quinones, the one and only, and I am your boy Mellow Man Ace. I want to give you an opportunity to fill up your glasses, get your blizzy going, get your cigar, and come on back in 2 and 2. Back, guys. I'm your boy Mellow Man Ace. That is Joey Quinones. This is the Havana Lounge podcast. A blessed of a day to have the brother here in our presence. To me, he's one of the most incredible musicians of our time. If you don't know him, get to know him. Type him up on YouTube, the Sinseers or Joey Quinones is going to pop right up. And you're going to see the quality of the amazing work that he puts together. That being said, Joey, take me through your songwriting process. Let's say, for instance, you're in the studio by yourself. You got an idea. And being that you're multi-talented, you can play the drums, you can play just about anything you want to play. Go.
It's sometimes frustrating, man, because it's like, where do I, exactly how you said, like, where do I start? Because, when it was just me in a bedroom with a guitar and a notebook, it was boom, 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 because that's all I had, But now having the different instruments and now being able to build the studio and stuff like that, it's like I get to approach the songs from a drummer standpoint. Maybe the song, maybe the drummer brought. I try to put my mentality in like what a unit back at the Wrecking Crew or the Motown studio would be like. Like maybe Jamerson would come in with a line. So maybe I'll start the song with the bass, kind of a theme, or maybe the piano player would start with the lick or something, or guitar player. So I try to put myself in what kind of era I want to hone into first, and then I kind of just start with the drum track, basic, just laying the foundation down, kind of just put myself in and pretending everybody's around me, kind of playing, most of the time I'll have like a nice little click track, that's kind of like the only modern thing I kind of use as a kind of timekeeper to get everything started. And then just start piling stuff on, and then I'll write like a little verse, or start with the chorus, and then I'll kind of just start piling more instruments on it. And maybe something I played in the vibraphone part or something, or in the trumpet, kind of like influences the next vocal line or something, another theme. So first, I want to say every song kind of starts mostly like an instrumental in a way, and then sometimes I'll put it away. I'll have the band, maybe like the same day as rehearsal, I'll bring the idea to the band and then see how they interpret it, and then I'll kind of start taking bits of that, pieces of that, and then the next day when I approach it, I know how it sounds to the full band, and I've tried it this way, I tried it that way, so I know what to put together. So it becomes like a cool little experimental recipe, I guess, every time. But most of the time when it's just when I'm really hot in lyric or in a vocal thing, I just kind of just keep the instruments as minimal as possible to kind of like feature the vocal more and kind of make it like, what's his name? It's only like one guitar, bass, and drums on that instrumental track, and the rest of it's just vocals. So sometimes you don't need to pile on a lot of that stuff, but a lot of times it helps kind of influence kind of the way and the flow and stuff like that.
Have you ever heard something your way, and then when your band gets involved, it kind of goes left somewhat, and you're like, no, that's not what I'm hearing, people. And how do you then bring them back to square root one?
I always try to I always say this to a lot of people. It's like, the thing that I like doing the most, especially live, is making my band laugh and smile. Because if I could surprise them, and if I could do something new that they catch and we all feel good about, and they're just like feeling it, it's a good vibe, then I feel like I did a good job. As with the band at least. The recording, it gets frustrating sometimes when we're like, I have this idea in my head, and it's the way I want it to be, and then we play with the band, and it's just not doing it. So in that case, sometimes I try to okay, we'll come back to it, and then do 20 other things so they forget about it, and then maybe we'll play a bunch of slower songs and lower quiet ones, so that the next time we approach it, it's already a little bit lower, or a little bit closer to where I want it. And but most of the time when I show them recordings that they're pretty good about this is I want to learn that bass line, or I want to learn that drum part, so that's cool. It's that they trust me to kind of give them the arrangements and stuff like that.
Righteous. Now, when you're live, I've seen your show live, and I just got to tell you, I'm very impressed. I love everything you do, the energy you bring to the stage, and you do bring about a looseness about you. You do. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that. Do you ever, are you ever on stage and you're like, I don't know what to do next?
I don't think so. I think I always, I know what we have to do. There's always kind of those bullet points in the set, You do the strong introduction opener. You do the low song, the nice little love ballad at the end to kind of quiet down, pick it back up, and then you do the popular songs, you know.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about my band is that I also have, you know, Adriana Flores and Brian Ponce, the Altons. So they you know, I get to showcase them, and they do amazing lead vocals too. So we have these spots where there's lots of features of different people, and in between that, I'm able to kind of like, you know, run the crowd and maintain, you know, I call it crowd control. And I tell the guys, you know, you guys sing the songs, I'll do crowd control, you know, and not necessarily as a hype man, but more as like as a base to kind of keep everybody involved. And
like a ringleader. You're the ringleader.
In a way, you know, like this, and that's why, again, that they trust me with that, and I appreciate that so much, because, you know, it's hard to, especially with these bands with a lot of people with a lot of ideas, a lot of, you know, a lot of personalities. It's harder to do that, and this is like the perfect kind of blend for that.
Guys, you're chilling with the one and only Joey Quinones. To me, I hold him in a high regard. When you see talent like this, it's hard to ignore. I don't know if you've ever seen him live, but if you have, you understand what I'm saying. The man is the elephant in the room, commands respect from the word go. Tell me this, what's the least favorite part of what you do? Whether it's live show, whether it's the business side, whether it's somebody's off key on stage and it just irks you or something.
I mean, there's a lot of things. You know, when I didn't travel, I used to complain about, like, I wish we were on tour all the time. I wish we were traveling. And then I was in a band that traveled like 2.5 years straight, and it just like, man, I wish we didn't travel. You know, I wish we could be in the studio. It just changes. You know, you especially as like the writer, I feel like you need to have like the balance. I mean, just like anything in life, I guess. But you know, you always have to have like that kind of like go, and then you need to have that little break to wind down and kind of recharge and kind of recollect.
Yes.
And get your ideas back up, and then you can go back out there and go again.
Sure. In the early '90s, they had me running so heavy, as I had a bilingual hit record, and it's banging in the mainstream sector and it's banging in the Latino market. Mm-hmm. They kept me on the road for 2 years straight, and by the time I got off that last airplane, I was so dizzy. I was making really poor decisions and shit like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, it burns you out.
It really did. It really did. And I was young, you know. I was 21, 22 years old, and it'll still wear you out. Yeah, still wear you out. Guys, you're chilling with Joey Quinones. I'm your boy Mellow Man Ace. Joey, tell me this: remember when COVID first started? Yeah. And you were gigging heavy. Mm-hmm. I remember you were here, you were there. We saw the flyers flying at us in 3D. I even went and saw you in 2019 at the Fox in Pomona, I believe it was. Yeah. You were on the cusp. I think the entire movement, the Soldie movement, right, was on the cusp of just going boom and blowing the roof off the entire market, and really creating a genre for this music. Where do you think you're at now in that sense? Coming out of COVID somewhat, starting to do shows again. Did you feel like a momentum break there? It was honestly because of how busy being in the studio as well. You know, I think it was just like a reshift, really. I mean, like, we had a big old tour plan, like with a lot of the acts, like the Sacred Souls, the Altons, and it was yesterday's Penrose tour. We were both supposed to take that on the road and kind of, you know, take it everywhere. You know, it's supposed to be a big thing for us, but that's when it all hit. And you know, it's like, for me, like I was kind of like, I don't know, I want to say distracted. I was like kind of just, I was able to kind of go. That was my little recharge moment, because I had my daughter around it right when, like, congratulations.
Thank you. On the 19th of March, I think is when they closed down, like a bunch of, like, I think at Los Angeles, Orange County was closed down, and that was the day she was born. It was just like, for me, it was just a sign to, like, all right, cool, I don't have to, I could be home, you know. So it was kind of like a nice little breath. And then when I was ready to get back to work, you know, all these bands that were kind of, all these projects and my friends around me that had all these ideas and things, like, well, let's start putting out records. So we started putting out our own records, and, you know, with another label that kind of like helped us kind of distribute them and stuff and produce them and stuff.
Would that be DJ Cazell and those guys?
That was with some of those guys too. That they helped us get a lot of our musicians' backing track work and studio work. Kind of kept us going. You know, it kept a lot of our musicians from, you know, basically starving, man. Because you know, without IMG, without, you know, the Noriega Records, without Sola, without Mango Hill, you know, without all those labels hiring all of our, because they were all hiring our musicians, our circle of people, our crew, which I call like, you know, our wrecking crew, you know, it's just like our and to me it's just like all the people I used to play punk rock gigs with, you know. But now like all these people are booked in studios all over LA, all over California, and it's like a good feeling to know that, you know, after all that, and you know, we still get to get together as the Sinseers and kill it as a band, you know, and keep our product. And that's what I love about the band, is that they're very faithful to that. But I'm also happy for them that they're all doing great things with other labels and other artists and Trish and stuff like that. So that's for me, that's like a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Yeah.
Tell me this. There's obviously going to be a genre, I feel, actually called Soldie, the genre of Soldie. I think that. But the music industry has a way of sometimes fucking people over. Like, and I'll give you a couple of examples. Freestyle music. Never seen it at the Grammys. Stevie B has sold millions upon millions. Lisa has sold millions upon millions of records. Then there's Latin hip hop. Kid Frost sold millions of records. Mellow Man A sold millions of records. It was never a genre at the Grammys. And I really hope that Soldie music and the regeneration, what's the word I'm looking for? The resurgence, right? Of that sound that you guys have, which has been missing from the game a long time. Guys, if you're not familiar with the sound, I feel sorry for you, but I want you to tap in to the Soldie sound. Is that correct? Am I saying it right?
I mean, that's what's been kind of like the biggest thing that people could familiarize it with. You know, I call it soul music. You know,
soul music.
But I consider reggae music soul music too. So my umbrella of that is really, really, really wide. But Soldie's, to me, it made what we're doing more accessible to people, and it combined not only the music but the culture, and you know the just the whole kind of scene of the car show scene, you know, the music scene, and the fashion scene, you know, kind of in a way, kind of put it all together, and they put that brand on it, so that way people can look at it from the outside and see that's what that is, you know.
Got you.
So that's what I see it as. I don't really consider the genre of music, because like again, like to me it's soul music. We're just trying to play, you know.
It's not that big a deal for you.
It's just, it happened, and then like it just was like to me it was, in my initial instinct it was like, it's kind of funny, like Soldies. What does that mean? You know?
Well, I think it means soul. Like soul, you say soul music, and then oldie, right?
Like so they you could put like the lowriders to it when you put it in your head, you know. And that's how I understand it. And then, to me that makes sense. But you know, like I don't see like I don't plan on putting like, you know, Soldies, you know, on anywhere on the labels or on the records and stuff like that.
Okay.
To me it's always been about. And it's the cheesiest thing for somebody like me to probably say too. But for me, it's always been about just the music, you know.
The music,
like the Grammy stuff and stuff like that.
You ain't worried about it.
If it
happens, it happens. If it doesn't, you're still good. You're out here doing what you love,
and I'm happy. Yeah.
I can dig that, people. I can dig that. Man, we going case by case, and it's a true blessing, man, to have you here, brother.
Likewise,
cool. Let's see, man. I wanted to talk to you about. Duran Jones, right? Would you consider them in the same genre?
I would say so. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people make the comparisons of us, and sometimes a lot of people think our songs are their songs, and vice versa. You know, and we've been on the same label for the past, I want to say 3 years now. Same record label.
Oh, is that right?
Which is Colemine. Yeah, we haven't yet to meet those guys. I know some of our band members had gone to some of the LA shows and stuff like that. You know,
wait, did you say you're on the same label but you've never met?
Yeah, that's cool, because they're more of like a Midwest kind of bass band.
Got you.
And
I thought they were here in Los Angeles.
Oh no, maybe one or two of them could be.
You would know better than I.
From what I know, yeah, I know the least about them, to be honest with you. But I know that they've always been really, really cool with, you know, kind of boosting us up and you know, kind of sharing us and stuff like that. And Aaron Frazier, you know, we talked sometimes on the phone, some talks of maybe meeting up and, you know, maybe working on something in the future down the line, you know. But
Sure.
you know, everybody's schedule is so hectic and crazy, and they're traveling and stuff like that. So when the time's right, of course, I hope
It'll come together.
Yeah, totally.
Tell me this. Where will you be next? What venues? What state you going?
We're gonna be playing the KPFK Latino Jazz Festival, I believe, at I want to say it's like Cathedral High School. I'm not too sure of the town, but of course KPFK Radio is putting that together, hosted by Jose Rizzo, which was a big influence of us.
Shout out to KPFK, man. You guys have been in the forefront of bringing us some great music over the years.
Yeah.
And the Sinseers is nothing less than spectacular to me.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And yeah, but that's the only thing we've done so far. And then, you know, some things in the works. It's kind of scary.
I think we're on a bill together coming up.
Yeah, we're at the It's upon a time.
At the thing with the thing.
The thing with the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that flyer in a minute. That's why it's one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's Dia de los Muertos Day, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it
Not the one in Norco? Norco?
No, I'm drawing a blank.
Is it the Once Upon a Time in L.A. one?
I'm not on that one. Are you?
I don't know. I think we are. Or somebody. I think we're backing somebody on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they left your OG out for that one, man. I was bummed.
Yeah, no, we're just the
Yeah,
side guys on that one. I think.
Like, I didn't help build this West Coast thing. It's all love, though. Okay. We're not going to get bitter right now, people. We got Joey Quinones in the place to be with the ACE, and that's how we doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me this, my man. You know, I asked you early on, or just a little while ago, what's your favorite or your least favorite part of what you do? What's your favorite part of what you do in terms of instrumentation? What's your favorite instrument?
I mean, I love playing the keys, man. It's like, I wish I could just show. I try to play as much as possible because that's the instrument I play the least. And, you know, sometimes, like, I'm a strong believer of let him sink or swim, you know, so.
Okay.
You know, put me out there with the Hammond in a high pressure situation, and if I can figure it out, I can figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to, like, kind of, that's what I like drive on sometimes. So, you know, we were just having this conversation the other day because I used to just only sing, or I used to only play guitar. And my backup vocalist Adriana was telling me, like, you need to be in the middle. You need, you know, like, you need to get a keyboard player or something because we need you to be, you know, because they missed the way I was kind of interact with the stage, the people that way. But, like, I'm such a sucker for being, like, you know, the jazz guy, you know, or the guy who's, you know, in the back killing it, you know.
Yeah.
The silent but deadly or whatever. But, you know, so that's it's cool to me to get into those exciting situations. My favorite part, I think, is playing live for sure. And
playing live. Yeah, there's something about that, man, that just allows you to black the fuck out. Mm-hmm. You know, and nothing matters once you're there. Center stage, the curtain comes up, they say your name, that first lick goes, and then you just go into this other. You turn into a superhero almost.
It's funny, yeah. It's where I was trying to explain that to my girl the other day. It's like, you know, and especially after the show, it's such a weird kind of come down. Especially, you know, after doing like an hour, 10 minutes, high energy, and then you walk off, and it's just like this.
And she's there when you get home. Take out the trash, Joey.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean, take out the trash? I just killed it on stage for an hour and a half.
Totally. Yeah, but you know, it's like, and it's the same way, like, you know, because a lot of my friends are in the bands that we play. A lot of the bills that we play, like, they're all friends and stuff. But you know, when that showtime starts, I feel like I turn into the shark. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have a better show than this guy, and then this guy, and they're all my friends. You know,
yeah.
And it's like, but you get into that mode, and it's just like this, like, you know, I don't know, I can't explain it. I'm sure you have trouble too.
Every time, man. I can't put it into words either. It's just, there's an excitement, there's an adrenaline, and you're just able to tap out, man. Like, nothing matters. Like, the bills that need to be paid don't matter. You know, your dad's broken ankle, everything goes out the window right now. I need to hit every note, you know what I mean? And take these people away from whatever they're going through.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And so for that 30 to 45 an hour show, you just hope that you don't mess that experience up, you know? you're well versed. You did your rehearsals. You did everything right. But there's always something that can go wrong. Have you ever had a guitar player try to turn up too high?
Oh yeah,
and be like, hold on, everybody, look at me.
Yeah, no, my band jokes around because they know I crack the whip, but they know it's for a good cause. You know, like, they know if I'm turning a little bit this way, that this guy's a little bit louder or something. And
Okay.
They're always on it, and I gotta love them for that, because as excited and as loose as we may get sometimes, when it's time to kind of go into the work, it's like they always come through. And it's really cool.
Good deal, man. Guys, we have been going case by case with Joey Quinones here of the Sinseers. I'm truly humbled to be in this position, to be able to talk with the man. Like I said, I hold him in a high regard. I haven't seen such talent in a long time in terms of the number of instruments that he flips, the way he runs the board. I love that video where you start off and you're in the studio. And you start moving the channels, and you start... What's the name of that joint?
That one's Don't Tell Me.
Yeah. Don't Tell Me, guys. Pull that up. Not right now, but after we're done. Pull that up, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Joey Quinones has been my guest. Guys, this has been the Havana Lounge Podcast. I'm good, my man, if you're good.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about that we missed?
No, just, thanks for everybody who's shared the music. Thanks to you, man, for getting me on here and just putting another... little bigger microphone, adding to the bigger microphone, man. That's what it's about, and I think it's important, to kind of keep doing that, and I have to be able to do that, in the future too, and kind of, get people to kind of just, tune in and tune out to whatever they're, like you said, man, just forget about what they're doing, and then just, and I appreciate being a part of it. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome, my brother. It's all about the music with my man, and you can get that, you can sense that. At least for me. Every time I see him, I feel like he's on his way to a studio. Like, he can just get off the stage, and I'm backstage thinking, I bet he's going right to a studio to start tracking.
Yeah.
You just seem like that kind of guy.
Yeah, we're definitely workaholic for sure. Yeah.
Good deal. I'm glad you are, my man. Guys, I'm Mellow Man Ace. Join me next week when my guest, I believe, will be Soren Baker, journalist for The Source, XXL magazine. I'm not quite sure, so don't hold me to that. But guys, we've been right here with Joey Quinones of the Sinseers. I am Mellow Man Ace. I'm good. If you're good, my man. Marky Mark, you good?
Good.
Ramon, you good? Everybody good? Excellent. Guys, don't forget, in the words of the great Curtis Mayfield, that your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing and move on up. I'm your man, Mellow Man Ace. This has been the Havana Lounge Podcast. Thank you for tapping in. Peace! Yes, indeed.